We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll? Okay, so before we get started, every now and again we go over the public rules of decorum and how we run these meetings. So I'm going to go through them. In compliance with the Ralph M. Brown Act and to further facilitate feedback, public comment is encouraged at meetings of the City Council, its authorities, agencies, boards and commissions, committees, and its agencies in accordance with the following rules. Please note, members of the public are encouraged to contact the city manager or respective operating department directors first before making service requests or service complaints directly to the council. At the beginning of each meeting to consider closed session items, public comments are permitted to address one or more closed session items scheduled on the agenda prior to the Inglewood City Council convening deliberations in private. Public comments during the closed session shall not exceed a total of 1 minute in length. At the beginning of each meeting to consider open session items, the consent calendar, warrants and bills, setting public hearings, departmental reports, authority and agency items, council initiatives, etc., public comments are permitted to address one or more open session items, excluding closed session items, and public hearings scheduled on the agenda. Public comments occurring at the beginning of open session shall not exceed a total of 3 minutes in length. Public comments are not permitted on any scheduled, closed, or open agenda item or public hearing in the event that the item has been pulled from the agenda, postponed, or rescheduled for another date. Public comments to address a public hearing scheduled on the agenda shall not exceed 1 minute in length. At the conclusion of the City Council meeting prior to adjournment, public comments are permitted on any items of interest to the public and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Public comments occurring at the end of open session shall not exceed 1 minute in length. The mayor or the presiding officer of the meeting in his or her absence, may restrict or grant additional speaker time based on such considerations as agenda length, volume of speakers, complexity of the item, or the looming threat of the loss of quorum. The mayor or presiding officer in his or her absence of the meeting may request that a spokesperson be chosen by the group to address the council when a group of persons wish to comment on the same subject matter. Speakers are not permitted to cede their time or any portion thereof to another speaker. The mayor or presiding officer of the meeting in his or her absence may invoke the use of speaker cards at any time the use of such cards is deemed necessary to facilitate an orderly process of permitting public comment. All public comments are to be directed to the mayor or the presiding officer in his or her absence, and not to any other member of the public or to any staff member or any single council, authority, agency, board, commission, or committee member unless in response to a question from that member. Any person making a public comment who wishes to provide written or other materials to the mayor and council must first request permission to approach the dais. If and when permission is granted, materials will be given to the sergeant at arms and then transmitted to the city clerk for distribution. Commenters must be civil and respectful when addressing the mayor and council members and making reference to others. No person attending a public meeting shall engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including but not limited to applause, whistling, feet stamping, booing, or making any loud, threatening, profane, abusive, personal, impertinent, or slanderous uttering or comments. No person is allowed to disturb, disrupt, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of a meeting. Members of the audience and speakers shall not wear or display signs, placards, banners, hats, costumes, or similar items at any time in the city council chamber that obstruct the view of the legislative body or audience members, or which create sufficient disruption to impede the orderly conduct of meetings or to intimidate other attendees of the meetings. Persons making public comments should not routinely expect to receive answers to questions posed during their remarks. This is not a town hall, neighborhood block, or other type meetings or gatherings which are more conducive to question and answer format. City council meetings are business meetings, and they are here to go through the items of city business. In many cases, staff will be available to take speaker questions and contact information and respond in a timely manner. So with that, it's time for public comment. So any persons present that wish to speak on any item on the agenda may do so at this time. Hearing no comment, we'll go to item 1, CSA 1, and H1. Oh.
It's okay. There
Okay,
it is.
thank you. Warrant register.
Move allowed payment.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, successor agency members, and housing authority members, Gray.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye, M1.
Approval of the minutes for the meetings held on May 2nd, May 9th, and May 16th, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, Gray.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Fogg.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye, Madam Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter?
Yes, Mayor. The next scheduled matter is a public hearing to consider adoption of a draft City of Inglewood 2023 through 2024 annual action plan.
Has the notice of the hearing been given in the time, form, and manner as required by law? And do you have the affidavit on file?
Yes, Mayor. Notices have been given and an affidavit is on file.
Have any communications been received on the matter?
Yes, Mayor. Communications have been received, passed out to the mayor and council members.
Mr. City Manager, the staff report ready.
Yes, Mr. Roberto Chavez, HUD Programs Manager, will give the staff report.
Welcome, Mr. Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, members of the council, members of the public. Thank you for your time and attention. Yes, we're here today to conduct a public hearing for the annual action plan for the CDBG program for fiscal year 23 through 2024. It is recommended that we conduct a public hearing today to consider the adoption of the draft City of Inglewood 2023 annual action plan, receive public comment, adopt the annual action plan, and close the public hearing. I prepared some slide presentations for the audience so we could follow along on some of the elements of the plan. The 2022 to 2026 Consolidated Action Plan, basically it's a 5-year plan of how the city intends on using its CDBG and home programs, or any CPD, which is the Community Plan and Development grant funding. So that's a 5-year snapshot of how we intend to utilize these funds. And I won't go through each of these points. So as part of the plan is the Consolidated Action Plan, which is a 5-year plan. Then we have the Annual Action Plan, which is how we carry out the activities. It also includes the analysis of impediments to fair housing choice and Community Participation Plan, also referred to as a CPP. We'll go over some funding. CDBG and home allocation for fiscal year 22 to 23. As of March 2023, the City of Inglewood received its allocation of CDBG and home funds for fiscal year 23 through 2024 from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also referred to as HUD, Office of Community Planning and Development, CPD, to address the affordable housing needs in the community development needs. As you can see, for CDBG, we received just over $1.2 million. For the home program, just over $800,000. This reflects a decrease in CDBG funding of about 1.5%. And for home funds, that represents about a 9.7% decrease year over year. And this next chart illustrates the year-over-year comparison from the last fiscal year to this upcoming fiscal year, 2023 through 2024. Moving right along. CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Program, provides annual grants on a formula basis to entitlement cities and counties to develop develop urban communities by providing decent housing and a sustainable living environment, and by expanding economic opportunities, principally for low and moderate income persons. CDBG budget. We've created a little chart that kind of describes how the funds will be utilized. In light blue, we have public services, about 15%. Administration is about 20%. In the dark blue, and in green, you'll have the eligible activities, which takes the lion's share of the funding. That's CDBG funding. What we have is a little breakdown of the funding for the CDBG program, as described earlier. Administration is about $249,000. Public services, the 15%. And you can see some of the programs we utilize it for: senior meals and fair housing counseling. Public improvement services includes park infrastructure improvement, minor home rehabilitation program, which is a pretty popular program here in the city. Moving right along. Home Investment Partnership Act. This is another program that we get funding for, and the purpose is to expand and preserve the supply of decent, safe, sanitary, and affordable housing, with primary attention to rental housing for very low income and low income families. And here's how that budget is broken out. In light blue, we have administration, about 10%. In dark blue, we have CHODO funding, which is Community Housing Development Organization. We have about 15% there. And the lion's share of it, 75% in green, is for eligible activities that are about 75% and broken out on this next chart here. Other CDBG and home news. The city anticipates using home program funds to build and redevelop more affordable rental and home buyer opportunities. The Minor Home Program was relaunched in May of 2022 to provide $15,000 in grants per eligible household using prior year CDBG funding. As funding is available, this will continue to be a multi-year program for low-income homeowners in the city of Inglewood. The CDBG division received 23 completed surveys regarding the use of CDBG and home funds. The comment period was a 30-day period from June 14th through August 12th. So we encourage folks to continue to submit their comments. Action plan schedule and recommendations. The 2023 through 2024 annual action plan is due to HUD by August 16th, 2023. With that, we'll take any public comments.
Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on the plan?
If I read the report, I'm hearing you correctly, are you allocating $700,000 of $1.2 million towards bathroom improvements? Did I just hear that? Community block development grants. You're spending $700,000 to renovate Centinela Park bathrooms? I really want to get some clarity on that. That is an abuse of taxpayers' funds. Are you telling me that out of $1.2 million, you're spending $700,000 on renovating bathrooms? Let's not even talk about that process. This process, since this administration has come in, it dissuades people from getting into the process. Because if I remember correctly, these surveys went out Memorial Day weekend. Most people are not paying attention because 23 return surveys is not a true sample size of what the city wants. And I'm sure, I'm gonna bet 23 people say, you know what, it's a great idea. We have $1.2 million in CBDG funds, and let's spend $700,000 towards bathroom renovations. Please tell me you're not gonna disrespect this community by saying you're gonna spend $700,000 of $1.2 million for bathrooms. Please tell me that's not what we're doing on this good Taco Tuesday.
Hello, Mayor and Council. In seeing that report, I saw that the funding has decreased. And I was just trying to find out why, or if you know why it's decreased and how it's going to affect what the plan is for the city.
The allocations change from year to year depending on the agency. Any other public comments? All right, with that, we'll close public comment. If there are no council comments, is there a motion to move 1 and 2?
Mr. Mayor, I do have some comments and questions.
All right, Councilwoman Gray, District
Yeah,
1.
thank you very much. Thank you. I'm referring to page 5 of 7, and I think a member of the public mentioned about the restroom rehabilitation at Vincent Park, and I think I asked a question at the last meeting if there were any plans, and I see this is in the report. So if the council approves this today, that's part of the plan to renovate the restroom at Vincent Park.
That is correct.
Okay, just one, because I know it was stated last week there were no plans.
There are no plans because there can be no plans unless we make an approval. And because it was not on last week's agenda, to discuss it would have been a Brown Act violation because it was not agendized. That's why. There were no plans last week.
Thank you. I have further questions. On page 6 of 7, there is an allocation for the rent relief program. I think it's 1.2 plus $1 million. And in your report, and first of all, thank you for your report very much. And I've read the staff report, but thank you for presenting. You're saying that staff will bring proposed programs for the utilization of these funds for city council consideration. So what are some of the plans?
Good question. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Essentially, one of the considerations is, because this is a CDBG CV funding, coronavirus funding, it has to be related to the pandemic. So one of the considerations that we're gonna maybe propose here is that we implement an HVAC program, which is an air conditioning program for public facilities such as libraries or other senior centers, et cetera, similar to that.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Morales.
So I just wanted to point out a few things. So CDBG funds are not like, they're restricted funds that we get from the federal government, and it's based on a criteria, am I right? In terms of economic levels throughout the cities that they govern, correct?
That is correct.
So the fact that it decreases means we meet less of that criteria, which actually means that the folks in Inglewood are improving a bit, which is a good sign. That being said, the city, I have to say, over all my years here, has done an excellent job of balancing and really leveraging these CDBG funds. And you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but we use a certain amount of for things. It could be the improvement of the bathroom. It could be streets and sidewalks in areas that they qualify for, so that then we can use other funding in areas that don't qualify for CDBG funds, and thus we get more streets, sidewalks repaired every year. So this is something that has happened throughout the years that has really allowed us to kind of make certain improvements. I have to tell you, facilities like public bathrooms in a park are extremely expensive. And to set aside $1 million for a bathroom a year, that's a lot of money. So, but the need continues. Our park at Vincent Park is so beautiful. It's a 55-acre regional park. It's an amazing park. The fact that we are focusing on that park and giving it some long, really, really needed help for the bathrooms, and I hope we continue there over the years with CDBG and other funds to make the walk path better for folks, to just create the environment that the residents deserve. So I just wanted to point out the fact that even though, it appears that we isolate these funds for certain things, there has been a significant amount of strategy over the years to really leverage these funds in the best way possible. I just wanted to point that out,
Okay.
Mayor.
Councilman Padilla.
Thank you. And first off, Roberto, thank you. You always do great presentations, and
Thank you, sir.
I hope you and the audience, really appreciate this type of in-depth coverage of how these funds are going to be allocated. And these public hearings are for that. These public presentations are for that. Everything that we do is so that we keep our community informed. Now, when it comes to the CDBG funds, when it comes to these home funds, there's all these guidelines, regulations, things that we have to adhere to in order to make sure we're spending this money appropriately. So it's not anything where it's willy-nilly, we're just gonna go ahead and throw this out there and do this and that. Far from it. Our staff really, gets together and really thinks about what is it that we need as a community that is the best use of these limited funds. And so for years, we've always had these hearings and we'll continue to make sure that the public is aware and they can participate and give us their feedback and their insight. And so it's important for us to understand that there is a process to this. And today is part of that process. So thank you, everybody. And Mr. Chavez, thank you again.
Ms. Chavez, it's pretty expensive to renovate a park bathroom, isn't it?
It is, sir.
I've approved budgets where we've, in the past, have spent as much as $400,000 to renovate a bathroom.
Yes.
Okay, and it's because they're special facilities, they're concrete. The plumbing is extremely heavy-duty industrial. The finishes and the surfaces are
ADA.
special. We have ADA requirements, so it's not just a toilet and a sink, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, and so they're pretty expensive. Now, let's get to the whole thing about how the city plans. Now, first of all, we couldn't plan to renovate a bathroom because we had a public hearing coming, is that right? We could only say, you could only make a suggestion. Do you make the determination as to what we're gonna do with funds?
I do not.
You make recommendations, is that right?
Recommendations, that's
So,
correct.
as we sit here right now, there are no plans, are there? There's a recommendation.
There's a recommendation before you.
Okay, now, can we discuss your recommendations if they're not agendized on a council agenda?
I don't know the answer to that question, sir. Sorry.
Mr. City Attorney?
The answer is no, it has to be agendized.
Exactly, and so if someone asks, do we have plans, and it's not agendized, and we haven't approved it, the reality is we haven't.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. So I just wanted to make that really clear.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Can I,
Councilwoman Falk.
thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you again for that report, and I just wanted to add into what my colleagues have said about the bathrooms. They're so important to a community like ours. We have kids going through the parks regularly. We have adults, seniors. Everybody utilizes those spaces, and it's very important to provide safe, clean, nice facilities for people to use when they're at the park. So I like the recommendation. I think that they're so important, and I agree with the recommendation. I also wanted to ask if you can share a little bit. I know one of our residents mentioned that there were 23 comments, and so I wanted to see if you can expand a little bit more about how we go about trying to get community input for the comments.
Sure. So annually, we send out a survey, and that survey goes out to the community. And that process started in May, as someone mentioned earlier. And we are engaged with the public. We do public meetings as well, and we
Okay.
advertise for those so that we encourage people to come in. And the overall consensus in a lot of those comments that we did receive was that more affordable housing is necessary.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Atwell, as it relates to like projects, because I really want to be clear on this, adopting this annual action plan does not mean that now we have plans to go out and renovate the bathrooms in Edward Vincent Park tomorrow. There's other processes that have to occur. Is that not right?
That is correct. We have to go through bid processes. We have to allocate the funds. There's general funds involved. This is just a portion of.
But even before that, the council has to approve a budget that has a capital allocation to authorize staff to even go through a bid process.
Correct.
So right now, there are no plans. Is that right? or
That's
is that
correct.
wrong?
There's no project and there's no plans.
Okay, so when I said that last week, was that correct?
I believe it was correct because, I mean, it's really, it's based on terminology as the counselor said. Really, it could be a concept or it could be a vision, but not necessarily a plan.
And we could not discuss any of these aspirations in a non-agendized subject. If it's not on an agenda, we couldn't discuss it at a council meeting. Is
Right,
that
if we were going to bring it forward, as the attorney said,
Okay.
we cannot discuss
All
it
right,
beforehand.
thank you. So there's a motion,
So moved, 1 and 2.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye, consent calendar, items 2 through 8.
So
But
moved.
I want to pull before the motion, I want to pull item 3. So items 2, 4 through 8.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye, item 3.
Staff report recommending that the mayor and council members adopt a resolution to reappoint Mayor James T. Butts Jr. as the voting delegate and council member Alex Padilla as the alternate to represent the city of Inglewood at the League of California Cities.
So I want to make a motion as it pertains to the September California League of Cities meeting. Councilman Padilla will not be able to be in attendance. I want to appoint Councilwoman Dion Falk as the alternate for the purposes of this meeting.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Excuse me. Aye. SPH 1.
I'm sorry, Mayor, in regards to that, is it just for
that
that
day.
meeting or for everything?
Depends on how Councilman Padilla feels.
Just for that meeting.
Just for the purposes of that meeting.
So if I'm not mistaken, then we need to vote on,
Correct, the item as it stands.
absolutely.
Okay.
I move item 3.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Yes, sir. Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Falk.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. All right. Now we go to SPH 1.
Staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to consider an ordinance amending or repealing various municipal code sections regulating peddling, soliciting, and sidewalk vending, and adding a new Article 13 sidewalk vendor program to Chapter 8 of the municipal code to comply with changes in state law.
Let's see. Set the public hearing for August 22nd, 2023 at 2 p.m. SPH 2.
Yes, staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to consider zoning code amendment number 23-00005 to modify miscellaneous regulations in Chapter 12 of the Inglewood Municipal Code related to affordable housing, daycare regulations, and condominium regulations citywide.
Set that public hearing for August 22nd, 2023 at 2 p.m. A1.
Thank you, Mayor. There's no reports from the city attorney's office.
CM1.
Thank you, Mayor. There are no reports from the city manager's office.
CC1.
Yes, Mayor, thank you so much. First, I want to say congratulations to our law enforcement, Senator Eller. You guys did a wonderful job at National Night Out. A lot of people attended, lots of vendors, and so I was so happy to see all of the community participating. Also, Mayor, I'm excited to announce that my second podcast, titled Let's Chat, will take place, and my special guest will be none other than our council member of the 2nd District, Councilman Padilla, 3rd District, Council Member Morales. We have Mr. Lawrence from the 1500 or Nothing, and we have Dr. James Morris, our county administrator, that will be there to participate with us. And then lastly, Mayor, I will be hosting my 2nd annual Voter Registration Day event, and that will take place September the 16th, starting from 11 to 4 o'clock to spread the awareness for voting. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm kind of jealous about this podcast.
Well, you're coming to show your head, and you're going to come pop into it.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
See, CM1. Did I do CM1?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Oh, that's right. So CSA 2, the successor agencies in session.
Approval of the minutes of the meetings held on May 2nd, May 9th, and May 16th, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Successor agency members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. Adjourn the successor agency, H2, the Housing Authorities in session.
Approval of the minutes of the meetings held on May 2nd, May 9th, and May 16th, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Housing Authority members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. We'll adjourn the Housing Authority. The Parking Authorities in session, P1.
Approval of the minutes of the meetings held on May 9th and May 16th, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Parking Authority members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. Adjourn the Parking Authority. The JPA's in session, JPA 1.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting held on May 16th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Joint Powers Authority members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Chairman Buds.
Aye. Adjourn the JPA. We have some appointments to boards, commissions, and committees, and I'd like to take these all in one vote. First, but I will have a second to all of them before we vote. Councilwoman Gloria Gray nominates, and I appoint Joyce Garner to the Library Commission. Councilwoman Gloria Gray nominates, and I appoint Pat Sanders to the Naming and Renaming of Facility Commission. Councilwoman Gloria Gray nominates, and I appoint Marche Kinney to the Human Affairs Commission. Councilwoman Gloria D. Gray nominates, and I appoint Vonetta Nickerson Campbell to the Housing Advisory Commission. Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Gray,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Fogg,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Now, with that, we go to public comment. Persons wishing to address the city council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time. Persons with complaints regarding city management or departmental operations request to submit those complaints first to the city manager for resolution. 1 minute.
Thank you, sir. Is this on? Thank you.
Definitely.
Good afternoon, council members, mayor, guests. My name is Maya Walker. I live in District 1. My comments are for you, Mr. Mayor. We've heard you repeatedly talk to us about the importance of decorum and respect in these chambers and how much it is that you wish for us to be respectful. But last week, watching online, I was appalled at the way you addressed and talked to my councilwoman, Gloria Gray. She was trying to ask the questions that we, her residents, asked her to question when needed. You dismissed her. You didn't allow her to ask the questions, and that is not okay. As a resident of District 1, we elected the councilwoman to bring our voices here. We have a very lengthy public decorum, and we would ask that you would also be respectful of the decorum rules.
Thank you very much, Ms. Walker.
Mayor, council, and residents of Inglewood, my name's Owen Smith. My wife and I run the Miracle Theater. We also have the Miracle Theater Foundation, which is a nonprofit effort that we do, and we're offering free tickets to Inglewood residents for this Sunday's show. We've been doing a Jazz Thursday for the past 10 months, and Inglewood's own Kenneth Brown has been performing his residency, and he's opening for Isaiah Collier, who's actually goes from here to Europe to music festivals. He's an unbelievable saxophonist, and all you have to do is sign up for the mailing list and come check it out. It's a Sunday early evening show. Doors at 5:30, and the show's at 7, and it's open for the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council and people present. Thank you for allowing me to put my 2 cents in. I'm happy that Inglewood is enjoying the entertainment capital of the world. I guess we'll call it that. Taylor Swift is impressive. But I want to stay focused on, for me, children. Okay, I watched I call it a ceremony, where we raised 10,000 for the county administrator, who I believe is just like all the preceding crooks before him. And my point of view about getting out of Inglewood and starting your own, at one time I heard comments to that point, to where when people take you over.
Sir, we're at time. Ma'am?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Councilman. I came today because I wanted to know why we don't have town hall meetings from any of these council women and men. In my district, which is Alex Padilla's district, I haven't had a town hall that I can go to and iron my complaints and ask, and all I get is chili bowl of programs and pancake programs and all of that, nothing about business. And I'm asking you again, Alex Padilla, to please start giving us some town hall meetings so we can speak. Because everybody that voted for you and didn't vote for you still have a voice. You're over us, and we pay your salary. So therefore,
Ma'am.
we need to hear from you.
Ma'am, we're at time.
Hi, Mayor, council people. My name is Boyd Rogers, and I just have a question for you, Mayor. Last week, Ms. Gray asked a question, or tried to. You cut her off very rudely.
Sir, I'll give you some time. I'll give you more time. Let me tell you, when you said that I cut her off, here's the way the meetings work. There's a chair, and there are certain agendized items. As the chair, one, no one speaks unless they're recognized. She asked a question of a staff member that wasn't recognized to speak. Two, it was about an issue that I answered the question for earlier. Three, the second question that I interceded and answered was because it was not agendized. It would have been illegal for someone to sit in a staff member to say, oh, we have plans, when one, we have not agendized it. Two, it's something that we may vote on in the future. So the inverse would be that we had already in secret decided that we were going to make plans that we had not made. And so it's the chair's responsibility to moderate the meetings and make sure that we operate in accordance with the law, in accordance with the Brown Act, and that we not discuss things that have not been agendized. So that's why if what you took is cutting off, it was just the chair doing his function. Now, sir, you got 45 seconds. Go ahead.
You were doing your function, but you did it very rudely.
I'm sorry that you felt that way, sir.
Could have been handled a better way. It sounded as if you were angry with her for some reason or another. And that's all that I wanted to say, that it could have been done in a better manner.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We can always do things better.
I wanted to say this because I didn't want your excuse to be lost on what happened last week. You explained that happened because you were conducting a meeting, but you have a pattern of disrespecting women. You told Diane Sombrano, I remember correctly, to go choke herself. You got rid of that tape, still denied to this day that it doesn't exist. The vicious attack, you went after Wanda Brown, even cut her duties and salary. We had this same conversation, if I remember, 3 months ago about Gloria Gray. I'm not Gloria Gray, by Deion Falk. You are what you practice. You are very rude and condescending. And now I can appreciate the story about Councilman Morales and his Alvin and Chipmunk stories about the groundhogs not coming. But in the staff report, it clearly talked about benches, so her question was never answered.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. With that, we'll close public comment. We'll go to council comments. Councilwoman Gray, District 1.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to congratulate my commissioners. Thank you for agreeing to be a commission for District 1. Also, I want to mention National Night Out. I did attend. Hopefully, the screen will show my attendance. And thank you to Cinder Eller and also the Inglewood Police Department for having the event and for interacting with the community. There's a picture of me and Congresswoman Waters. She was there. She came a little early, and so she asked me to be with her there, and so I was very happy to see her there. But thanks again to the police department for their service, and to Cinder Eller and those who organized it. Also, I want to remind everyone that I will be having a meeting with the businesses in District 1 as promised. It will be a resource and informational meeting. We will have speakers to really provide support to small businesses. And so that's August 21st at the Miracle Theater, so please plan to attend. Also, back to school event coming up for District 1 in conjunction with the Inglewood Unified School District and the Heads Up Foundation, Sabrina Miller. So I want to thank Dr. Morris and Sabrina Miller for joining in with me to provide free backpacks to the kids. I do have some minutes left. I do want to address a couple of things. Thank you to the public for those comments. The mayor often talks about this is a business meeting, and yes, it is a business meeting, but it's also a public meeting, and the public needs to have clarity and information, and that's the reason why I do ask questions. My constituents want to hear from their council members. And so with that, and they want to hear from staff, and that's why I ask questions of staff. So I hope that the community will continue to listen into these meetings because they're very important. Decorum is extremely important here, professionalism and so forth, in the way that we all present ourselves. And so I will continue to do what I do on behalf of my constituents.
Councilman Padilla, District 2.
Thank you, Mayor. So a couple of things, and let me just start off. There was a young woman, a District 2 resident, went up there and talked about not being available or whatever, no town halls. I always make myself available. I'm always, and I've been up on this dais for many, many years, and I've always said that you don't have to wait till a Tuesday at 2 o'clock council meeting to reach out to any one of us. Even more so, me specifically, I'll address. I make myself available all the time. If you reach my office, I pride myself on getting back to folks in a very timely manner. So I encourage you to stick around after the council meeting. We can have a discussion, and I can give you my card, which will have my phone number, and you'll also have my cell phone number. I am available. So, and as for the chili cook-off that you made a comment about, I take these events serious. Why? Because it's an opportunity for us to get together as a community, to break bread, to build on relationships that are based on trust and mutual respect. And that's why we have these community events. And I hope you'll join us on Saturday at 4 o'clock at North Park. I see you shaking your head no. That's your prerogative. But we will continue to have these type of events for our community to get together. And I look forward to seeing everybody this Saturday at North Park, 4 o'clock, for my annual picnic and chili cook-off. We're gonna be also raffling off some bicycles and scooters for the kids. We're gonna have plenty of food, root beer floats, some entertainment for the kids, a game truck. It's all for the community to come and have a great time. And it's not just for District 2 residents. All are welcome. So please come on out and enjoy the picnic. I want to go over to National Night Out. Thank you to Cinder Eller. Thank you, more importantly, to our Inglewood police officers. You know, you guys are always there to answer the call. You put your life on the line every single day. And although it's an official day for National Night Out, we thank you every single day for putting your life on the line and to keep our community safe. And I tell folks, you know what? Inglewood is a new Inglewood. We are a community where people can come out, feel safe, and enjoy everything that we're doing here in the city of Inglewood. Matter of fact, last Saturday, I did my backpack giveaway. And I want to thank Kids in Need Foundation, Gifts for Good Foundation, Inglewood Unified School District. I want to thank also our school board member, Ernesto Castillo, for coming out to show support, and Agustin Quinones, who helped put this thing together. So thank you for making that a success and putting a smile on these kids' faces as they walked away with their backpacks. So with that, we'll see you Saturday, 4 o'clock. Thank you.
See you, Alex.
Oh, please, Mayor, one more thing. If you can close in the honor of Jessica Ochoa from the school district. Her mother passed away, Maria Lourdes Cervantes Ochoa.
Jessica's mother.
Yes.
Okay, Councilwoman Falk, District 4.
Thank you, Mayor. So I want to first again acknowledge the hard work of Cinder Eller, who put together a dynamic national night out. It was a great time. We were there for most of the event, I believe. So my kids had a ball. My husband came out as well. Just I think that they are trying to get the pictures up. But again, congratulations to our staff and team for a dynamic. I think it was one of the best ones since I've been on the council. So congratulations again. Also want to acknowledge 3 wonderful backpack giveaways that I participated in on Saturday. I went by Councilman Padilla's backpack giveaway. He did an amazing job at his. He said most of his people were lined up early, like 2 hours early or something. So we had a great time there. And then I went to Senator Steve Bradford's backpack event that was at CSU Dominguez Hills, my alma mater, in the city of Carson. And he did a magnificent job. He had a lot of vendors and participation. And so I was glad to go out and support his event as well. And then we also went to it's called It's Bigger Than Us Back to School Festival. It was at Crenshaw High School, and it was very good. It was an awesome event, and I don't know if everybody knows, but that's the mayor's alma mater. So he and I were there. They gave a lot of kudos. He's the only mayor that's graduated from Crenshaw High School. So congratulations to him. It was a wonderful event. And then I want to actually make sure that everybody knows, please bring your kids, nieces, nephews, grandkids, whoever, to my backpack event giveaway with, I'm partnering with Assemblymember Tina McKinner. That will happen on August the 19th. There is the flyer. And so we will be in my district, District 4. It will be at the Superior Shopping Center at Crenshaw and Imperial, and we'll be there from 10 to 1. So please, please, please make sure you bring your kiddies out so they can get a backpack, and there'll be other services. There'll be eyesight testing, hearing, all kinds of wonderful services for kids. So please make sure you have them attend. Also, I have the Let's Get Healthy dance series. This is my 2nd annual. I did it last year, doing it again, and I am partnering with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We will be at the Crenshaw Imperial Shopping Center, and they will take place Thursday, August 17th, Thursday, August 24th, and Thursday, August 31st. The first one is line dancing. The second one is Latin Zumba. And the last one is Chicago Steppin'. So come on out. Let's have a good time. Let's get healthy before we start back to school. And lastly, I know I'm out of time. I want to give a big congratulations to Andre Williams, District 4 resident, and our Planning Commissioner, Cheryl Williams. She did a beautiful celebration for him. It was his 60th birthday and retirement celebration. So we came out, we did a resolution, and she's amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilman Morales.
Thank you. Just trying to hit some of the same points. First, I'd like to talk about accessibility. The truth is that we're probably the most accessible council there is. If you call our office, we don't get back to you in 24 hours, hold us accountable. Hold us accountable. But if we call you back in 24 hours, tell us what you need, we may agree, we may disagree, but that's what it's all about. If you expect to call us and tell us what to do, you can try. But if we disagree, it's not going to happen. I've been here long enough to know that things evolve. You really get to know your community and how best to communicate with them and how the real need is and the reality of the situation that you're in a city with one budget that we're fortunate continues to grow these years. But during the tough years, that's where the decisions are made that are very difficult. But whoever wants to reach me can reach me in my office, leave a message, we'll get back to you. If we don't, hold us accountable. But be real about it. You know, call if you need it, be sincere, because that's what we're gonna do. In regards to National Night Out, thank you, Senator, always a great job. But thank you to every part of staff that came out. Police and fire, awesome. I mean, we're very fortunate we have a good opportunity to thank them. You know, these are things that matter. They build community. Much like Alex was saying, you know, he described it as breaking bread. The truth is, we are so fortunate to live in a city that still does community events, real community events. It doesn't happen everywhere. So you can say it, but it doesn't.
And ma'am, please don't.
And bottom line is, you know, this is we're gonna make our choices, and some folks will agree, some folks will disagree, and I can tell you we're okay with that. At least I am. That being said, so National Night Out, awesome. The other event I was fortunate to go to today, and thanks, Mayor, you couldn't make it. You handed the ball off to me over in my district. It was Terawatt Developments who opened up its emissions vehicle charging station, which is, you know, the state of California is shooting for 2035. I don't know if that happens with zero emission vehicles, but the truth is that we need charging stations to be able to make it convenient to have electric vehicles that not only help the environment, but give our community the opportunity to actually own them, and the convenience of having a charging station near where we live. You know, I know their group there was came on qualified grants from the state. You know, thank you very much. We are definitely the city you're looking for. We'll take every grant. And
We're at
that's
time.
it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm the only chief of police or mayor that ever graduated from Crenshaw High. Really proud of that. Okay, when it comes to accessibility, I have to spend a minute on Alex Padilla. Let me tell you something. I've been in public service for 51 years. I have never seen anyone that holds more events to allow people to talk to, be face-to-face with elected officials than Alex Padilla. And I congratulate you, sir, because you make sure that whether it's your ICOP center, your community center, whether it's the park, you're always everywhere. And I congratulate you on that. Thank you. Now I want to talk to Miss Maya about her opinions. You know, everybody's going to have an opinion of how they think people should interact. When you're the chair of a meeting and there are strong personalities, and people that run for office tend to have strong personalities. Ms. Gray is a long-time dear friend of mine, and she's a very strong personality. And when you have a responsibility as a chair to make sure that we adhere to the law when it comes to the things that we discuss on this dais, if someone tries to talk over you, it's going to seem as if you are being rude to them. But this is not kindergarten. This is business. And so there will come a time when I will speak and I will truncate a conversation because, one, the member is not recognized to speak. 2, I knew at the time that what was being discussed was not legal to discuss because it was not agendized, nor had it been voted on. And so I'm sorry if it feels that way to you, but you wanted to run for office. Understand this, and you did run for office. You need to understand this. The chair has certain responsibilities, and it doesn't always look the prettiest, but we're going to do business the way it's supposed to be done. So with that, ma'am, you're speaking out right now. See, now that's something you're going to have to learn if you want to run for office. Okay, now I want to close the meeting in the memory of Maria Lourdes Cervantes Ochoa, and we're adjourned. Thank you.